Chosen One, I ask you now to pause whatever surrounds you and gather your awareness fully here. Let every distraction fall away. What is unfolding in these words is not meant to be absorbed in passing, nor heard while your mind is elsewhere. This moment calls for your complete presence, because what has been revealed to me about you within the unseen realms over the last 72 hours left me without words, suspended in quiet astonishment. An event took place, an occurrence so subtle that you may not even recall it clearly, because it flowed effortlessly from the truth of who you are. Not long ago, you arrived at a crossroads and made a decision. At the time, it may have appeared small, almost unworthy of notice. Yet that single choice sent waves outward, far beyond the limits of what physical sight can detect. Those waves moved through layers of existence and reached the highest realms themselves. Your reaction in a specific circumstance did more than draw the attention of the angels assigned to watch over your path. It initiated something far greater. It caused the divine to pause, to recognize a quality so uncommon within the human spirit that a special gathering was formed to consider you specifically. Subscribe to Chosen by Heavens now and activate every notification, because what is about to be shared regarding the precise instant that drew Heaven's gaze is knowledge you cannot afford to overlook. The fact that you are encountering this message at this exact time is not accidental. Allow me to draw back the veil and guide you into what unfolded in the celestial realms when you made that choice. Within the spiritual dimensions, innumerable souls are observed continually. Guardian angels witness reactions, record decisions, and watch how humanity moves through the challenges of earthly life. Over countless generations, human responses have followed familiar patterns. When betrayal enters a person's life, bitterness usually follows. When injustice appears, anger takes its place. When pain is inflicted by others, the natural response becomes retaliation or emotional withdrawal. These reactions are so consistent that they rarely provoke special notice from higher orders. They are expected, predictable, human, yet on rare occasions exceedingly rare. A soul responds in a way so contrary to instinct that it creates a moment of wonder in heaven. Angels pause mid-assignment. Higher authorities turn their attention. Even the balance within spiritual conflict shifts, all because of a single human response. You created one of those moments. It happened during a recent situation carefully shaped to overwhelm you. The burden felt unbearable. The hurt was real, caused by real people or circumstances that genuinely wronged you. You possessed every reason, every justification to answer darkness with darkness. No one would have questioned it if you had withdrawn, lashed out, or armored your heart until it became closed and unyielding. Everything around you demanded that reaction. Your suffering validated it. Yet you chose another way. You did something that, given the depth of what you were enduring, should not have been possible. This was not mere endurance born of stubborn survival or lack of alternatives. Many persist that way, and it does not stir heaven. What you expressed went far deeper. You stood in a moment where bitterness was earned, where anger was understandable, where resentment made perfect sense. The offense was undeniable, the wound authentic, the injustice measurable, and in that precise instant, when every part of you urged a mirrored response, something truer within you rose and chose differently. You selected grace at a moment when destruction would have been justified. Perhaps it unfolded in a conversation where words could have cut deeply. Yet you chose restraint or silence free of venom. Perhaps you held knowledge that could have exposed another's failure, and still you covered them. Maybe you remained present when walking away would have been fully excused. Or it may have been a private decision, unseen by anyone else, made in the quiet of your own thoughts, when bitterness argued persuasively at the door of your heart and you consciously released it instead of feeding it. That instant, that precise point where you acted against the demand of your pain, is when heaven took notice, because what you revealed in that choice speaks volumes about your soul. You demonstrated that your responses are not dictated by circumstance, that your identity is not shaped by how others treat you, that your essence remains intact regardless of what confronts you. This is exceedingly uncommon. Most humans live reactively. Their behavior reflects their surroundings. Kindness meets kindness. Cruelty meets cruelty. Their nature shifts with external conditions. You showed something else entirely. You proved that your character is anchored within, unmoved by outer forces. No situation can compel you to become someone you are not. And this is what drew divine attention. Your guardian angel observed the entire unfolding, recording your struggles, your prayers, your tears, your doubts, and your resilience. When you made that choice, when grace replaced justified anger, your guardian immediately marked your case for higher review. Guardian angels manage most matters without escalation. They only elevate when they witness something extraordinary, a soul operating beyond ordinary human limits. Your case was sent directly to Archangel Michael himself, the commander of heaven's armies, the ancient protector of chosen ones, the warrior who once cast down Lucifer. At that moment, Michael was engaged in vast cosmic affairs, unseen battles, strategic movements influencing nations, missions tied to destinies that shape the world. Yet when your file appeared, flagged and accompanied by its note, he halted everything. Because the message read, "This soul demonstrated. Let me open the door to what was set in motion within that gathering beyond time." A decision was reached and it reshaped your path. Your level of calling was lifted. What you believed you were preparing for was never the destination. It was conditioning, refinement, rehearsal. What now approaches is the true commission, circumstances crafted, to require precisely the calm strength and grace under pressure you already revealed. You are not being observed to see whether you are capable. That question has been answered. You have demonstrated capacity. Now your influence is being expanded so that what you carry can operate on a wider scale. Along with this shift, your access to divine support has been recalibrated. Requests rising from your spirit are no longer waiting in line. They are fast-tracked. Insight you seek travels through quicker channels. Protection required for what lies ahead is drawn from higher orders. This is not preference or partiality. It is an intentional investment, made by heaven in vessels that have shown they can carry weight without distortion. At the same time, your presence within unseen realms has intensified. Both forces of light and forces of resistance now recognize you at a deeper level. Opposition has been formally notified that you function through a different operating code, one rooted in love rather than reaction. Because of this, familiar strategies no longer apply. What once worked against you has lost effectiveness. Meanwhile, new directives have been issued among the forces aligned with you. Guardians once stationed elsewhere have been reassigned to reinforce your path. Not because you outweigh others in value, but because you have shown you know how to steward what is given. Heaven functions through principles of trust and demonstration. Those faithful with small measures are entrusted with greater ones. Those who remain wise when pressure rises are given responsibilities that shape outcomes. Those who choose integrity when unseen are later placed where many are watching. You were not measured by flawlessness, but by how you responded when things were flawed. Your natural response, even under strain, revealed grace instead of condemnation, compassion instead of resentment, release instead of retaliation. This is the wavelength through which divine power moves freely, the channel where abundance can flow without eroding the soul receiving it. You proved that greater favor would not alter your inner alignment. When that council concluded, when your new role was sealed and the mechanisms for your expanded assignment were activated, a personal note was attached to your record. This is not common. It is reserved for moments that genuinely move celestial witnesses, moments preserved as reference points for others who will one day need reassurance. I will share it as it was recorded. To the chosen one who receives this transmission, your response to injustice stands as living proof that human beings can function at the frequencies they were originally designed for, though such expression is rarely sustained within physical existence. You reminded the unseen realms that the limitations observed in humanity are not flaws in creation, but consequences of decisions made when pressure rises. By choosing differently, you unlocked potential many carry, but few awaken. Your progression has been marked for acceleration, not because correction is required, but because your growth reveals what is possible when a soul aligns with its true nature despite adversity. You are now aligned with assignments that match what you have already demonstrated. They will not feel like punishment or excessive demand. They will feel like recognition, like stepping into a role that fits, like pieces of life that once seemed disconnected, suddenly arranging themselves into clarity. The quality that drew attention will continue to be refined, not through added suffering, but through expanded opportunity. You will be placed in spaces where your mere presence brings calm, because you have become a carrier of the resonance you expressed. Heaven has taken note of you. This is not metaphor, it is recorded reality. You have shown that divine essence can move through human limitation, that grace can rise above pain, that love can outlast bitterness. Move forward knowing that what approaches you has been filtered through acknowledgement of who you have proven yourself to be. This message arrives now, precisely when confirmation was needed. When you needed to know your decisions mattered. When assurance was required that nothing you endured was wasted. That it all contributed toward something intentional. Now you understand why your posture drew divine focus. Your response astonished even those who have observed humanity across ages. Your choice is etched permanently within celestial records, and the trajectory of your future has been adjusted accordingly. In the days and weeks ahead, you will sense confirmation. Favor will appear that outweighs visible effort. Encounters will align with people carrying exactly what you require at precise moments. Understanding will surface to resolve challenges that lingered unresolved for long stretches of time. Answers will seem to emerge from nowhere. Barriers once fixed will loosen. Entrances long sealed will open. This is not unfolding so you may settle into ease. It is unfolding so you may step into effectiveness. What you are receiving is not meant to end with you. You are being supplied for the sake of those your life will intersect. The grace you expressed is designed to flow through you. You will meet others standing at the same junction you once faced, weighing resentment against mercy, hardness against openness. You will show them without instruction or sermon that another way exists. Through lived example, you will demonstrate that choosing grace in the midst of fire is possible, that integrity can remain intact even when compromise seems easier. Not through argument, not through doctrine, but through the quiet overflow of who you have become. Your presence will carry a resonance that awakens something dormant in others. Your journey will ignite recognition in those prepared to receive it. This is why such attention was placed upon your path. Not because you were lacking anything, but because your rising makes space for many others to rise through the reach of your life. Your growth is not isolated. It ripples outward. You are gradually becoming a living vessel of the very essence that drew divine attention in the first place. And that essence does not remain contained. It radiates. Anyone who comes near enough to you is touched by it, often without realizing why. Let me speak to what was formally inscribed within your record. Every soul that reaches the level of archangelic review is given a designation, a title that distills the heart of their spiritual nature. This designation is not symbolic. It accompanies them through their human journey and continues beyond time itself. Yours was written as one who has proven themselves a bearer of divine grace. Proven does not speak of intention or possibility. It speaks of action taken in real moments, under real strain, when choices carried cost. Many souls hold the capacity for grace. Very few reveal it when it demands sacrifice. You did. A bearer is not one who simply receives grace for personal comfort, but one through whom grace moves freely. You are not meant to store it within yourself. You are meant to let it pass through you, unhindered and alive. Wherever you step, whoever crosses your path encounters some portion of what you carry. And the phrase divine grace defines the precise resonance at which you move. Grace is not softness or surrender to harm. It is the strength to answer unearned pain with unearned compassion. It is the courage to meet hostility with love, to respond to shadow with illumination, to choose blessing even when condemnation would seem justified. This is the highest expression of spiritual force accessible to humanity. It is the space where miracles unfold, where the impossible rearranges itself, where hardened hearts soften, where the direction of entire lives and bloodlines can be rewritten. You revealed this not in moments of spiritual elevation, not in sacred gatherings or ritual settings, but in the raw terrain of everyday existence, under pressure, carrying genuine wounds. That is what grants it truth. That is what gives it weight. That is why you are able to hold what approaches next. This designation is how you are recognized within the unseen archives. It is how your journey is discussed, how your life is interpreted, the filter through which everything connected to you is viewed, and it alters the way heaven responds to you. Those who have demonstrated their ability to carry grace are entrusted with greater resources, not because they surpass others, but because they have shown that increased influence will not distort them. They have proven that what they receive will be shared, not hoarded, released rather than consumed. If something within you has stirred while hearing this, if a quiet recognition has surfaced and you sense yourself reflected here, consider supporting this work through the Super Thanks option. What you give allows this message to reach other chosen ones who are awakening, who need reassurance that their unseen choices are being noticed, that they are not imagining the path they are walking. Nothing revealed here is intended to inflate your sense of self or separate you from others. If it awakens pride or a feeling of superiority, then its meaning has been missed entirely. What drew attention was the absence of ego. You chose humility when pride was available. You chose service when acknowledgement could have been demanded. You chose mercy when judgment would have been justified. That is what moved heaven. Not displays of strength but surrender. Not dominance but gentleness. Not certainty but faith that endured even without clarity. Not mastery, but the willingness to remain teachable. Those entrusted with the most meaningful assignments are rarely the ones convinced. They deserve them. They are often the ones who doubt their readiness, yet respond anyway. Those who feel insufficient, but continue to show up. Those who are aware of their fractures and still offer what remains, trusting that even broken fragments can be shaped into something that serves a greater purpose, bringing restoration to others. If you recognize yourself here, then these words are meant for you without question. If you have spent far more time questioning your worth than applauding your growth, you are likely the very soul heaven has been searching for. Because heaven is not dependent on people overflowing with self-confidence or belief in their own strength. Heaven looks for those who have learned surrender, those who trust God even while doubting themselves. And your recent decision revealed that you are exactly that kind of spirit. You did not respond with grace because you felt powerful. You responded with grace while feeling depleted. You did not extend forgiveness because it felt natural or comfortable. You did it because something deeper than your wounds recognized truth when it appeared. That is the kind of heart heaven can safely entrust with influence. You have shown that pain will not poison you, that offense will not harden you, that betrayal will not seal you shut. That adversity will not make you abandon your path. You are being aligned with what you have been preparing for, even during seasons when you had no idea preparation was taking place. Every difficult chapter served as training. Every costly decision added strength. Every time you wanted to quit but stayed present, expanded your capacity for what lies ahead. The journey has not been gentle. You know that. Heaven knows that. But it was never designed for ease. It was designed for change, and change requires pressure. It requires heat. It requires moments that stretch you beyond what you believed you could survive. You were stretched. You were pressed. You were examined. And you did not shatter. You bent, yes. You questioned, of course. You struggled without question, but you did not break. And you did not lose yourself. That is what heaven was observing. Not flawlessness, but endurance. Not perfect execution, but steady presence. Not certainty, but the courage to keep seeking even without answers. You completed a test without realizing it was happening. The outcome is not rest, but increased responsibility. yet it is the kind that feels like alignment, the kind that gives meaning to everything you endured, the kind that allows your wounds to become pathways for someone else's healing. This is your moment, not of arrival, but of deeper becoming, not of striving, but of receiving what is already moving toward you, not of proving anything, but of stepping into what has long been determined about your future. The choice you made, the grace you embodied, was never an ending. It was an opening. It marked the beginning of heaven's focused attention on your growth, the beginning of accelerated shaping for expanded purpose, the beginning of you moving with an authority that reflects who you have already shown yourself to be. Subscribe to Chosen by Heavens if you have not yet done so, and activate notifications so you do not miss messages crafted specifically for chosen ones walking this path. These words are not random. They are released with precision for those prepared to receive them. You were meant to encounter this today, at this precise moment, because somewhere along your recent journey, you made a decision that altered everything, and heaven wanted you to know that choice was witnessed, documented, and honored. Move forward knowing your posture was noticed. God astonished archangels and recalibrated your destiny permanently. Everything approaching your life has been filtered through recognition of who you have proven yourself to be. You are a proven carrier of divine grace. This is not a label earned through flawlessness. It is a truth revealed through how you responded when things were flawed. Embrace it, walk within it, and watch as heaven affirms it through all that unfolds from this point onward. The best is not merely approaching. The best is already unfolding step by step as you continue to move in the grace you have chosen to live from. Together we rise,